Get strong. Get strong.
Hey, okay. I think I got it figured out now. Let's see. Let's get over here. All right. So, hey, everyone. Welcome to Creative as Hale. I'm your host, Amy Hale, here with my fabulous husband and co-host, John Hale. We're excited about the 2021 broadcast season of the show. We have so many talented and amazing guests lined up for this year. Starting off with none other than the multi-talented fez-wearing man of the hour, Brian K. Morris. But first, before we jump in, we want to take care of a little business. So let's start with thanking our patrons, which let me pull that up here. We want to thank our patrons. Did that show? Whoops, just lost it, didn't I? Okay, so of course I messed that up. So our patrons, we have Brian K. Morris as one of our patrons. Let's see, we have Michaela Jade, Paula Love, Kat Bollinger, and I know I'm missing one now because I just messed the graphic up, of course. Let's see. Did I pull it back up here? Molly Helpenstein. Yes. So let's see if that'll allow me to pull that up again. Let's see. Share. We'll try this one more time because I'm still figuring all of this out. Application window. Here we go. And hopefully you all are seeing that. All right. So huge thank you to Paula Love, Kat Bollinger, Molly Helpenstein, Brian K. Morris, and Michaela Jade. Without you, we could not do this. We want to thank you. With your patronage, we've been able to purchase some new equipment for the show. And with your continued support, we are hoping to be able to bring you the best show, books, and other entertainment we can. You can support us for as little as $1. So if this is something you're interested in, please check us out at the address below in the bottom of the graphic, or you can also find that link in the show notes. We're also excited to announce that, let's get that off the screen there for a minute. And we'll go back. Brian's having fun there. So let's see here. Let me get this figured out again. Okay, so I also want to bring up that we are excited to announce that we are part of the Creative as Hale is now part of the Rising Tide Network. This is a great group of shows that also includes Nevermind the Furthermore, Clever Title Pending, TED Talks, Lunchtime at the Doghouse, and Stupid O'Clock. If you're looking for great entertainment and education, you'll find it in the Rising Tide. Also, a quick note about upcoming appearances. John and I will be at Big River Comic-Con on April 23rd and 24th in Hannibal, Missouri. Yay! And we will be joined by some amazing guests, such as artist Eddie Price, artist Eric Hawkins, and our guest of the night, author Brian K. Morris. So without further ado, let's bring him back in here and make sure he's unmuted. And okay, I think we did it. Oh, don't you even.
I could hear her heart stop.
I was thinking I hear the sound of castanets as her heart valves were going off.
Oh, yeah, my gosh.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's funny, actually, but I thought for sure
that was good.
Messed something else up.
Oh, no. StreamYard, it's one of the most simple forms of getting yourself onto the air, and even so, it's almost like using a bomb some days.
Yeah, juggling everything to get it to come into the
yeah.
It's a little nuts.
Yeah, it is, and I get a lot of people that try to do what we do, and the one thing I hear most often is, "How does Brian do this?" And I'm thinking, not saying he did it well, but he does it. You know, you just
did
yourself out there, yeah. So, but anyway, thank you for having me on tonight. I am honored to be here on the first episode of the new season. Thank you both for inviting me.
We are so excited to have you.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to look at comments, and I notice that I'm seeing. Okay, so Carlene says, hi, guys.
Hi, Carly.
But I'm not seeing anyone else on YouTube.
Well, wait for the comment dump that inevitably happens.
Is that what happens? Does it dump from Facebook and YouTube, or how does that work?
It seems to, and I think they kind of like Facebook and YouTube get together once a week and decide who's going to screw us over the word.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah, so one day you'll be going along thinking you're caught up. The next thing you know, Facebook. And then the next week it'll be YouTube. So yeah, hashtag real broadcaster problems. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing some on my phone, so I guess maybe we'll just kind of go back and forth until we see what happens. I don't know.
Sounds good.
So Jessica Glasgow says, hey guys, looking smexy, Amy Hale. Thank you, dear.
And yes, I'm hurt now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you look smexy too?
You do, John.
She's the smexy one.
You both do.
Yes.
I know where I fall in that category.
Yeah. You notice I'm not protesting my lack of mention here. You know, I know my place on the food chain here. So
yeah.
So I know there's some there. I'm gonna see also because I know we're probably also missing because we're like in 3 different places. We're on YouTube and 2 different pages. So I hate to miss any comments.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go to my pages now.
Everybody's sexy.
We're all
okay.
Fix this thing.
Okay, so yeah, here she says, "Everybody's smexy." There we go.
Thank you.
We're all good. We're all good. Okay, so I just find my silly pages on here.
Yes, and I see that we do have some comments on your page.
On my page. Okay.
Yes. I see Joe Dog McKeel, Carl Witzman, Michaela J, Joe McKeel. I know him too, author McKeel, and the usual cast of characters. So
okay. Let's see. Okay, so Jessica's comments are showing up from my page. So
Facebook.
On Facebook. So I guess we'll let that work over here, and I'll pull up the comments.
That sounds good, and I'll look for YouTube.
There we go. And
see, this is a nice thing, most of the time when things go south on my show, I'm in it by myself.
Yeah, you're trying to juggle all of it. So I just told him when we were waiting, I was like, "Good gravy!" I said, "I really need like someone to manage all this. This is nuts."
I know. Yeah, I want to get profitable enough one day that I can actually pay someone to do all this stuff for me.
Be like your show producer.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, YouTube, because I just looked up author Amy Hale, and the first thing that came up was Ted Davies Artistry, and then me,
and then you.
And now we get creative as Hale, live now. I'm going to, and I hear it in my earphones, and then, all right, there we go, and that's me grimacing. And,
that's making faces.
Yeah, and me, and. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I can pay attention to you. Hi, guys. How
hey. All right, well, we'll try to get this started now that we think we've got this all figured out. Who knows, huh?
Yeah.
So let's see. We have Jeff Hayes saying, good evening, guys. Watching on TV, so grab the iPad to comment. Take it to Brian. Oh, Lord. All of this on TV.
The big screen. Hi, Jeff. How you doing?
Carly says, Carl and I can't be in the same room at home, and it seems we can't be in the same room online. Well, You make it work however, right? Okay, so on Facebook, we've got Joe McKeel says howdy. Carl Whitman says hi there. Our author Michaela Jade says hello, everybody. Joe McKeel says SOC Educational. Who lied to you? LOL. Let's see. Let's see. And then we've got Carl. Let's see. Michaela Jade, you guys are rock stars. I aspire to be as good. Bleh.
Aim higher. Thank you.
you need to aim higher, dearest. Aim higher. Where is Donna, Carly, Carlene? I don't see her, says Carl. We're all socially distanced, I guess. Even in your own house. Carl says, hello, John and Amy and Brian and all our chatters.
Hi there.
Michaela says, John, you are a tall glass of water.
And a succulent piece of man candy, too.
He is. He is.
Yes.
He's my favorite. So Teresa Dunn says, hello, Amy. Hey, Brian. Michaela Jade says, you're not kidding. I'm trying to leave the day job and I'm working harder than ever now. I hope I'm not reading these backwards. Just wait. I don't know. Just wait. There's a new option on StreamYard. I'll be testing it to the max soon. Oh, I hope it's a good thing. I hope it's a good thing.
Joe is like my Yoda when it comes to StreamYard. He's like the Zen master of StreamYard.
He's figured it out, hasn't he? Awesome.
He has, and StreamYard's got a YouTube channel that's quite informative. And I saw a video the other day. I'm like, oh, the trouble I could get into if I really work that. So I am studying it naturally. But it was kind of funny because Joe had he runs an event in Chattanooga, Tennessee called HoloCon, like Halloween.
Yeah.
And this last year, of course, we all had to do it virtually rather than be in person. Well, Joe had someone on from StreamYard itself who was part of the development team there.
Oh, wow.
And Joe spent about 20 minutes saying, hey, look what I learned I can do with StreamYard. And she's like, apparently the programmers never told her that could happen. And
teaching her some stuff, huh?
Yeah, it was really informative and really fun. And of course, I started doing it. Like one day, Christian Basil, for those of you who watch my show regularly, know he's in charge of a wonderful show called The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Well, I keep a TARDIS right here. And I was fooling around with the green screen control. And the TARDIS actually turned a lovely shade of emerald.
Oh, you changed it all up.
I did. I pimped that thing out. And Christian finally noticed. He's like, where'd you get a green TARDIS? What is that? And so I finally fessed up to it. But no, StreamYard is very, very good, even at the free level.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and they keep adding stuff to every level, which is the great thing about it.
Yeah.
And I am not a paid representative of StreamYard Inc.
Me neither, although I would gladly be so if they offered it to me. Because I love it.
I do too. I accept sponsorships, by golly. Write to me for details. So anyway.
Let's see. Michaela Jade says, hashtag marriage goals. Brian says, we only talk Carl says, we only talk via text messages, Facebook, and when I ask Brian to tell Donna something.
Tell him I'm not speaking to him. That sort of thing. Yeah.
He's fixing dinner tonight.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. Good
I'm just saying that. That's something you could tell him.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, hey, tell Carl I said he's fixing dinner tonight.
That's right. Learn, if you don't cook, guys, it'll save you. You'll save your marriage. It'll save your lives. Trust me.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a knock at the door. Would you mind checking?
We would. What?
Will you check on that for me?
Nope.
Let's see. Carl says, I think I'm going to have to open that new whiskey bottle tonight. And Brian Rodman is watching with us. So those are our.
Hi, Brian.
Those are our. Yeah, those are our comments. Sorry about the interruption, guys. So let's see, what do we got here?
Oh, and I see one comment from YouTube. Carlene, thank you for hashtag buttbeard.
There we go. Hashtag butt beard.
Now
All
we're
right.
official. Now we're official.
Now we're official. Let's see. Teresa says, Brian, the man, the legend.
Huh?
And we got the high rain. Brian, let's see. Okay. So I think hopefully we've covered the comments. So, okay. So we can get into the questions now.
Let's do. Begin your brutal interrogation.
Yes,
I'm ready.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Brian Rodman says, hey guys, Brian, I feel like we live together. I've seen you more than my wife this week.
That's true, because I was on Brian Rodman and Jeremy Woodring's incredible, and Chad Nuss, the new co-host, incredible show, the Dastardly Dingoes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Great show. We did a taping of it last night, and folks, get Brian and Jeremy and Chad to like talk to my next door neighbors here to have them on the show too. So I think they'd be a worthwhile addition. So.
Anytime.
All right, start writing, Brian.
Yeah, there you go. Michaela says, that's why I'm married. Andy cooks. Carl says, hey, Teresa and Brian, is this your new office? Yes, this is the new office. We're still working on the accent wall behind us, but we are getting there. So
nice.
much more room. Yes, much more comfortable.
Nice.
Nice. Kim Younger says, hey, guys. Hey, Kim. This is my cousin, Kim.
Hey,
haven't
Kim.
talked to her in a while.
Hello, Kim.
All right, so let's jump into it here. So we're going to kind of start with our basic questions. I know you've heard these a million times, but tell us about yourself. Give us some background on who Brian K. Morris is.
Well, unaccustomed as I am to speaking about myself. No, I'm actually an Illinois native, been a storyteller all my life. And due to an unfortunate presentation of an essay about what I did over my Christmas vacation, I realized I bet that words have meaning. And also that they could be used for a cheap laugh, neither of which I've gotten over. So I from that point on, I strove to learn how to use the language to its utmost effect. And over the years, I'd like written just about everything, not all of it professionally, by God. I don't consider my first professional sale to have happened until 1997, when I actually got a play produced. At Danville, Illinois Red Mask Theater, God love them. And I got a small award. It was the Catherine Randolph Theater, and every year they gave out what was called the Katie, which was like their version of the Tonys. Well, I got one for, they called it a mini Katie, and it's like a little plywood thing with stain, the brown stain on it and everything. And I got it for not killing the director because he skipped 3 lines of dialogue when he was in the play. So, not everybody gets like a non-participation award in my case. And then eventually I was writing small press comic books, and then in 2012, and actually I was starting to move some articles and doing art interview transcriptions, and doing a number of things for various publications like Back Issue Magazine, the Krypton Companion, a magazine called Who-topia about Doctor Who, and as I listed, several other magazines too obscure to mention. Well, in 2012, I made a resolution. I made my New Year's resolution that I was going to work hard on my writing, so maybe somehow it would become my day job. And 2 months later, I was fired from my office job. So don't make those damn resolutions, people. They will backfire on you fiercely.
Fate stepping in.
Yeah, it did. But fate has ever since been on my Christmas card list, because I realized, rather than panic and cry and plead for my terrible job back, I realized I had a plan B. I was doing it, and it would either be my plan A or it would be my plan B when I got another regular 9 to 5. Well, fortunately, the delightful Cookie, to whom I am married, she told me, don't you dare, you keep working on what you do. And so since then, I've published 7 or 8 books. I kind of sort of don't count my first one because it's technically out of print. Because it was through a program that Amazon has since discontinued, and I don't have the licensing rights to really run it. So, but that's not to say it might not come back. Anyway, there's ways around everything. But anyway, since then I've started what is now called Rising Tide Publications, risingtide.pub. Sign up for my free monthly newsletter, hashtag always promote. And I tell people how to promote. Plus, I have morphed into a broadcaster of sorts. And that's part of their wow, just like magic. That's awesome. You can find me at Rising Tide Publications on Facebook. Thank you, Amy. And also we have a thing, the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, which I am proud as heck that Amy said yes to joining it. And we've got a lot of great shows that are yeah, I don't want to sound like we're high quality because we do have a lot of fun. We, if it's as you've seen so far, if it's a choice between having a good time and getting it right, we'll take good time every time.
Every time, yeah.
Every time, yeah. And so, like, I broadcast about 8 to 10 hours a week. Plus, I do guest shots and I do a lot of consulting for broadcasting and publishing. So, and that's in addition to writing, believe it or not. I actually am still a writer, although some days I don't feel like much of one because I was doing everything else that goes along with the job. But like I tell people, when you're at the 9 to 5, you may like your job, but do you like everything about your job? It's like, you may love dealing with the public, you may love taking money, but you got to clean the toilets at the end of the day. So there's a certain amount of toilet cleansing in even the freelance world. So
there is.
So that's basically me. More than you need to know.
Basically. Yeah, basically.
Basically, I could go on for another 12 or 13 hours probably. So
let's see. Oh, there's a bright way to that works. We'll go with that.
That's gorgeous. Oh my God, that pops. Good work,
Let's
Amy.
See. I'm also trying to figure out how to display the show names on here, but I don't know. So if I take that off, see, we're learning.
If you go into the banners area,
there we go.
You could take it out, or you could substitute another one directly.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how in the world did we get, the names to pop up. Okay, so we'll go with that for now.
I lost the banner.
Well, yeah, we can bring
them both.
We can't have them both apparently, so that's okay.
That's a paid version.
Yeah, we'll bring them around. I actually did pay for this.
Oh, okay.
I apparently need to pay more. I need to go pro or whatever.
Yeah, the pro level's pretty swank. It's nice. It's worth it.
Okay, let's see. Teresa says, you like helping other people become authors. Is there any advice that you would give new authors to become publishing? Yeah, definitely. That's one of the questions we had. So if you want to go ahead and go with that now, go for it.
I will do that thing, Amy. Thank you. I think this the short versions of what I would advise new authors who are going into publishing do is become as educated about this as possible. And I always do this little thing where I tell people there is a secret site on the internet where you can find out everything about publishing and writing and editing, anything you need to know about the creative process. Okay, are we alone? Okay. It's called Google. It's called google.com. You just ask I know. You all are now under a blood oath, upon painful death, that you will never reveal that to anyone. No, but seriously, everything you need to know about it is on the internet.
You're just giving away all the secrets there, Brian.
I know. What am I doing, people? I'm giving away the keys to the kingdom here. Well, you see, now that leads to the other part of the advice I would give. But anyway, to finish up the first part, though, you'll learn about copyrights, learn about trademarks. It's not that hard. People just make it sound difficult, but the basics of it are pretty simple. Mm-hmm. And, have a basic command of English and grammar. Formatting can be learned. Everything else about this business can be learned. Promotion is key. Don't be afraid to promote yourself.
Yeah.
And also don't be afraid to go out there and put out your product. We talked a lot on my show and last night on the Dastardly Dingoes taping we did about something called imposter syndrome that a great many of us have to one degree or another. And that's that feeling of unworthiness in your field.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I tell people that if you finish a manuscript, whether it's a short story or a novel or a screenplay, you are already breathing pretty rarefied air, because a whole lot of people talk about it, but they never get to the finish line. Heck, they don't even get up into the starting gates either. They just talk a good game, but it's the people that actually, plant their butts in a seat and start beating their keyboard to death with their fingertips. Those are the folks that are going to create something. And you put it out there and be willing to take criticism. Not everyone is going to try to tear you down. And after a while, I've always filtered it through, can I learn something from this?
Yeah.
Okay. So if somebody says, I hate that book because Brian's Fez is the wrong color. Well, that doesn't teach me anything. Neither does this is the best book I've ever read.
Yeah.
That doesn't teach me anything.
Yeah.
But if somebody says, well, Brian stretched out too little plot over too many words, that gives me something I may need to work on. So I'm not saying you have to write a book about a book, but if you can be specific with your criticisms about a work or about what really turned you on about it, that helps us a lot. But anyway, be fearless. One of the first, I tell this story often, one of my first public appearances here in Lafayette, Indiana, where I live, in a military compound here, it was at this very small comic book convention. I was talking to these people. I would say they're probably in their early 20s. And they got so turned on about the idea of being their own publisher, being in command of their own business. And I, of course, I am almost evangelical about this. I just think so much of it. And I've met so many wonderful people as a result.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, I told, they said, well, I don't know who would want to read my work. And I'm like, listen, I write a book about, at the time I had a book based on a comic book character, and this one, which is sold in 6 different countries, which is about Dr. Frankenstein creating the spirit of Christmas from pieces of the recently dead. This is sold by copies. And I said, those are not exactly broad genre books. And I've got an audience. I've got people that are asking, where's my next one? People that are following me on social media. And I said, the thing is, for everyone that wants to create something, your niche is out there and there is an audience for it. Now that's where promotion comes in, and you get the word out so that your audience can find you. And the funny thing was, when I gave this advice, this woman, middle-aged woman, poked her head around them, went, thank you, and vanished. And I'm like, okay, fine. Typical day. But she came back about 10 minutes later, and it turned out that she was a woman who's devoutly religious. And every decision she made, she consulted her Bible, she prayed over it. She let the Word of God guide her in every major decision she ever made. Now, her children, though, she had a couple daughters who were in that middle teenage area where they don't know yet how smart mom is. Okay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're like, well, mom, what are you doing all that for? But the thing is, they would look at their phones and read a book or read some, like a newspaper or something, and go, oh, okay, I get it. And what her mom wanted to do was write a book. She knew her audience. It was her 2 daughters. She wanted to write a book because she envisioned them reading it on their phones and going, okay, now I get it why mom's doing this. And that was all she wanted. And the idea is that your audience is out there, create fearlessly, and work to make sure that they know you exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's inspirational stories like that. And then there's that one hashtag that you like to show a lot. I think you got it on a piece of paper there.
That one. I was going to spare you guys that one.
If there's an audience for that, there's an audience for anything.
That's true. Well, I did I put that away? Gosh, I don't know what one you're talking about, Amy. I did find the one though that no, I'm not going to use that one either. That's bad. No, it's dino porn. Dino porn.
Yes, hashtag dino porn.
Yeah, hashtag dino porn. There it is. It was hiding. It was hiding.
There you go. If there's an audience for that, there's an audience for anything.
And the sad thing is It's out there, people.
Oh, it is out there.
Yeah, one of the pictures
Way out there.
Yeah, and not far enough, unfortunately, especially on a warm summer day. But yeah, I run a picture frequently of my dear friend Christian Basil, the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. One night I mentioned this while we were having like this big show, and he thought it would be amusing to look it up.
Oh no.
No. It was a life-changing moment and not for the better.
Never Google things you're curious about that other people are like,
No. If it has porn in it, you don't want to look for it.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
Got it going. But yeah, I have a screen capture of Christian finding it and the look of absolute horror and thinking that of all the decisions in my life, this is the worst one and it's led to this moment. So
I can imagine. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Well, let's see. Okay, so I was going to ask, do you think you were born a writer or did something specific spark your creative interest in words? But it sounds like it was that essay in school.
The essay was kind of a trigger, although when I was even, like as long as I can remember, I've loved comic books. I still do. And like when I would finish reading a comic book, I'd, like go over to my mom and go, "Mom, can I get another one?" And she's like, "Well, you have to wait till next month." And I'm like, "No." So I would like make up my own little adventures, had the little green army men, and one would be Superman, one would be Captain America, and I'd make up my own little adventures. Now, the incident with the essay was I had unfortunately aligned my words so that instead of describing the Christmas tree being lit up, I described my parents being that way, my teetotaling parents. And it didn't help that my teacher snitched on me to my parents too, who registered their sternest disapproval of my word choices. And I decided I better get it right from that point on. So
that's fantastic.
That would have been the first parent-teacher conference.
Yeah, one of many. It was like a series. I don't remember a time in my entire scholastic career if there was a parent-teacher meeting going on, I was usually invited. So my mother, God bless her, she was so proud of me. She's like, "Brian knows the superintendent of schools. This is very good of Brian." And it wasn't until this is like in first grade, and it wasn't until I was in sixth grade when she learned that I knew the superintendent because every time he came over to visit my school, I was in the hallway for chatting. So I was not what you'd call a model student. So.
Oh my!
To this day, I'm still not a model student. I am no one's role model. So let's put it that way.
Let's see. So you want to go with the next one?
Yes, he does.
Well, let's see here. I'm going to jump a minute.
Jump around.
So was your first book a comic book or a book, a novel?
Well, that's a good question. Thank you, John. Well, I had published what were called mini comics back in the mid 80s. And what they were comic stories, but the medium, if you will, were just a plain piece of like what we call typing paper. Does that date me or what? 8.5 by 11. And then what you do is you draw on both sides of it, your comic story, and then you fold it up, staple it in the middle, cut off one end, and it's a very usable comic book. And those are my originals. Those are the original ones I did. And right after we got married, we went back into that for about a year and kind of slipped out of it. But my very first published thing post job was a book called Bloodshot, the Coldest Warrior. And if you're having a Vin Diesel flashback, yes, that's exactly who it was. At the time, Amazon had a kind of like a professional fan fiction program going where they licensed various commodities like G.I. Joe or Pretty Little Liars or The Vampire Diaries, which was out at the time. And I think I want to say Gilmore Girls was one of them too. but they also licensed the entire line of Valiant comic books, and I was a huge fan of those. So after I got released from the water utility place, and I've got my anti-corporate rant ready for that. And no, I didn't set anything on fire. It was a clerical thing, I promise. Last hired, first fired. But anyway, I wanted to do something that had a built-in fandom, a built-in fan base, and I learned of this I'd known of this program, and I thought, well, the only thing that I really relate to is Bloodshot on there, or the other Valiant characters. So I came up with a story about Bloodshot, of course, based on the comics, fit into continuity and everything. And I remember the first month I released it, or I put it up for sale, and it's only available as an ebook, so there's no physical copies of it, darn it, unless I can get that license. But anyway, I had heard at the time, and I hear it's still true, that most independently published books don't sell more than 100 copies.
Yes,
for
that's
various
true.
reasons, because they didn't promote it, the artwork on the cover's bad, whatever. There's 100 different reasons why.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to sell 100 copies of my book because it's so darn good. I'm going to sell it the first month. Yep. And all the people that, when they found out what I was doing, they were like, Brian, you're an idiot. You ought to be like pushing your resume out there. You better try to get another desk job or something, because this isn't going to go anywhere. And of course, hashtag fueled by spite. Don't tell me I can't do something. So I get cranky and then I do it. But I got the sales figures back on the first month, and my book was like the #2 hot seller in my genre on all of the whole
Wow.
of Kindle Worlds. I was like glowing.
Yeah, really.
And then I looked at my sales figures, and I had sold 20 copies. And I'm like, I want to throw myself in front of a bus right now.
All the rest were selling that badly, huh?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe I can hand out carts at Walmart or something until something better comes along, please. And of course, I'm devastated. I am like, really hamstrung by my disappointment in myself and my book. And I just love that book so much. I still like that book. So I went and I told my wife, Cookie, I said, honey, I sold 20 copies of Bloodshot. She goes, you did? Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? What, you lost your mind? And she's like, no, this is fantastic. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll talk to somebody rational. So everyone I talked to, I said, man, I only sold 20 copies. And they're like whooping and hollering like I had just cured cancer or something. And I'm like, oh. And finally, one of my friends told me, he said, Brian, that's 20 copies of a book you would never have sold if you hadn't written it and put it out.
Yep.
And I'm like,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's right. And that's why, when people ask me, well, how do I become a published author? One of the first things I tell them is write something and finish it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because any step of the way, it's so many people quit, and I've done it too. I've done my share of I've got my share of like terrible half-finished novels, or places where I'd written myself into a corner, or just something that didn't work out. But the fact I finished this book and I put it out, and then I followed it again and again and again, and then I taught myself how to promote, how to network, how to basically navigate this whole thing, as you guys well know.
Yeah.
That a lot of your time as a freelance creator is spent in promoting your work, promoting you, promoting your branding. If anyone wonders what branding is, for some people, it's like having attractive man candy with you, or in some cases, it's a fez and a bow tie with sideburns. It's how people will recognize you. So. But a lot of my time is spent like writing emails, chasing down work, getting invitations to conventions, that sort of thing. Not that I'm trying to make it sound like I'm Stephen King or anything. Stephen King doesn't do conventions. But anyway, no. that's why he is where he is, and I'm where I'm at. So there. Anyway, but no, no, and the wonderful thing about this is, I make it sound like a lot of work, but I do want to hasten to tell everyone this is the most fun I can have imaginable.
Yeah. It is for all the work that you put into it, and it is work. It's not, you're not going to throw some words on the page and just be done. You really got to work it, but it is a good work. It's just, like you said, the most fun. We've had so much fun at conventions. We've had so much fun getting to meet people. It's just, I don't know, it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
And we laugh all the way through it too. So that helps.
Yeah, that's true. There are some shows where laughter is the only thing we get. But anyway, but no, in all seriousness, it is a fantastic business, and I love the people that I get to work with and play with. And I was thinking just very recently, the people that I feel closest to in life, I didn't know them before 2012.
Yeah,
like you guys, and and a lot of the people that we see in the comments here, that I wouldn't know most of you unless I got into this crazy world of writing. But the thing is, also, there's just something wonderful about being able to control your destiny.
Yes.
There's something really cool, and I know that, like, say, if I don't sell any books that month, I know who's to blame. It's me. Because I didn't work hard enough. This is a business that actually, if you work it right, and I'm not saying you have to work it really hard, you don't have to be spending 23 hours a day on it. But if you know how to do it correctly, it pays dividends. I mean, like I said, this book here, Santa Sign, available on Amazon and Smashwords, # always promote. Notice how I do the subliminals there? I'm slick. Anyway, but no, this thing, thank you, Amy. This thing sells in this is sold in 4 other nations I've never been to. I've been to Canada for about 120 minutes. That's all I could stand. And then they kicked me out. But no, but it's sold in Japan. I'm being bootlegged in Russia right now. I figure that's the pinnacle of my career. I'm being bootlegged in Russia and China. I'm worth stealing from. This makes me so happy.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. That's not the first thing that pops in my head when I find out I've been pirated, but I'm going to try to remember that.
I have to force myself to remember that some days. Those rubles could have been mine, but
that's right.
Or those yen, whatever. But so Neil Gaiman, who I admire greatly, had an essay once on basically pirating, files sharing our work. And the problem is, and he pointed out that you can send them the digital rights management letter and they will take it down. And then 5 minutes later, 10 other Yahoos will upload the same file. Because they think they're being clever. And rather than waste all that time trying to chase that down, create new stuff, create more stuff that's worth stealing.
And I think like what we're seeing here more recently too, fight for the legislature that helps stop it, because individually sending those things doesn't do so much, but we've got people that are fighting for us. The Congress just passed a bill, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but now us smaller publishers for a nominal fee can now take these copyright claims to court without going, deep in hock for it. So that kind of stuff, if you're going to fight piracy, you got to do it through the legislature, because it doesn't seem like we're getting anywhere. Like you said, you not take one down, 5 more pop up. So
and I'm glad to see the legislature actually taking a positive stand to help us in the creative fields.
It always seems like it's always been more in favor of the big publishers and the big music companies. But it's nice to see the little guy get a little bit of a, hey, let's help you too here kind of thing.
About time we got ours.
No kidding. No kidding. So what's your most recent work? What are you working on right now?
What I am working on right now, in fact, I just finished the second draft just like minutes before I came to the studio here. As everyone should know, this wonderful book, Pulp Reality #1, available from stormgatepress.com, hashtag always promote other people. The second issue is coming out, and I have a story in the first one, and I just finished the story for the second issue, featuring Charles F. Millhouse's wonderful character, Captain Hawkland, who I just absolutely love. And it's with a character that I created, Doc Saga, that I'm working on an anthology with him, with several wonderful writers. And then once I get that sent off to Charles and my artist, Candace Comaleri, who I'm very excited to work with because I've known her for years. She's a darling and very crazy talented too.
Yeah, she is.
She genuinely is, and she's so nice. She really deserves her accolades. But then after that, I'm working on a project with Bobby Nash, BobbyNash.com. He's got a series of adventure books about a character named Abraham Snow, and he's invited Charles F. Millhouse and myself and several other writers to do some short stories based on his character.
That's awesome.
Yes, and it's like I've been an admirer of Bobby for the longest time. And suddenly to have him tap you on the shoulder and say, "I'm giving you my character. Would you like to play with it?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, sir, I would." And same with Charles. You know, it's like I'm a Captain Hawkland fan, and he said, "Well, you can write it if you want." And I'm like, "Cool." So I did. And I'm also later on this is not gone beyond the you can do it if you come up with something phase, but one of the books I carry is from Flinch Books. Jim Beard and John C. Bruning are the publisher editors there, and it's called Quest for the Space Gods, and it's kind of like Carl Kolchak mashup with Chariots of the Gods.
I have that one right here.
There you go. That's the one. Thank you,
yeah.
Amy. That's the one. And I have a story in there, and Jim and John both approached me and said, "Well, would you be interested in writing a book about that character?" And I just absolutely fell in love with this guy. He's a disgraced journalist because of his views concerning extraterrestrial intervention in mankind's affairs way back when.
Oh.
And so he is traveling the earth, trying to find evidence to vindicate his views and to prepare us for their return.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
And it's set in the 70s, which I remember fondly. Yeah. And so, doing the first one was kind of a dream project for me because I'm a huge fan of both Jim and John. And then all of a sudden they're saying, "Hey, Brian, would you like to come back and do this again?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So,
that's cool.
Thank you. It's very flattering. It really is. And I still get to work on my stuff because I'm still going to work. Once I get done with the story for Bobby Nash, I'm going to go back to my first fantasy romance book that I started 2 years ago. Love Above the Waves. And I'm taking cues from my more talented friends about how to write romance. So I'm going to see if I can earn my way to the table here. And then after that, we're going to work on, aside from other side projects, or bright shinies as we call them here in the editorial office. I'm going to be working on the sequel to Volcana: Rebirth of the Champion.
Awesome. Ooh. So you got a full year ahead of you then here, don't you?
I do. And that's, plus like little assignments that come up here and there. But some of them can be really rewarding. Like I mentioned, Jim Beard, he's just announced a book. He's done like several books, critical essays on various pop culture items like the G.I. Joe toy line. And he did another one called 14 Miles to Gotham City about Batman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, based on that sign, Adam West would pull out of the Batcave, and there was that sign, Gotham City, 14 miles.
Yeah.
Jim's got a series of books he's releasing based on its various authors writing about each episode in the Batman 1966 Batman series.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he approached me and said, "Would you like to do one for Egghead, and I'm like, Vincent Price, one of my favorite actors, and my assignment is to watch Batman. Oh my God! Sell my clothes, Mom. I'm going to heaven. So so that it's the sort of thing where I go to Cookie, of course, and I say, honey, I'm going to be working for Jim Beard. You've got things to do, and I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a Batman thing. Can I watch it with you? Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, but it turned out very well, and I'm really happy with it, and I know I'm going to be rubbing elbows with some really terrific writers. So
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
really excited. I'm really excited for seeing.
That's awesome.
So, thank you.
That is awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, so we've already talked about your award, the award you won for your play.
Yeah.
We've discussed comic books. I'm looking at my questions here. Outside of yourself, obviously,
Yes.
who is your favorite author?
There are other authors? No, wait. No.
There's one or two. Just
one or two.
Oh,
now you've made it difficult. Because the list changes so often. Because
same.
Yeah, because we are, as creators, we are basically the sum of what we have absorbed. I would say if I had to narrow it down to two people, really, one of them, well, I have to say a writing team.
Okay.
One of them is, and these are not household names, but their names are Richard Sapir and Warren Murphy. They were one of the top 70s action adventure novelists. And they created a character called Remo Williams, the Destroyer, who they made a movie with Fred Ward, that great Fred Ward movie.
Yeah.
But that was one where it appealed to my pulp sensibilities, fast-paced adventure, vivid characterization, and lots of humor. The movie did a great job of capturing Chun, who is the comic relief and probably the deadliest man alive in this series. But that was a huge influence on me. And otherwise, I would say Mary Shelley.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense, considering that you wrote Santa Stein.
Yeah, I made no secret about the fact that my mother let me read Frankenstein in 3rd grade because I was a huge fan of the horror films. I love Boris Karloff. I still love those Universal horror films.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a copy of the book, I think, from my great-grandfather. And he just handed me the book, and I had never read a grown-up book before. And Mom said, you can keep reading comic books if you will read a grown-up book. Which one you want to read? And I said, well, I want to read Frankenstein. And she told me, be prepared that it's not totally like the films.
Mm-hmm.
And that had never dawned on me. But it's just the emotion that goes into it. And yes, it's a different kind of style than what we have nowadays, or even that I demonstrate. But the emotion that goes into it, and the underlying messages of alienation and things like that were surprisingly ahead of her time. And that's a great book to go back to and reread because, like all good works of art, you should be able to go back and find something fresh. The book or the comic or the play, the movie, whatever, should resonate like it's the first time you saw it. You should be able to discover nuances to it that you missed before. And I don't know how many times I've read Frankenstein, and the runner-up would be Dracula. That's another fantastic.
Oh yeah,
book.
It's a good one.
Oh yeah, and and it, like I said, Frankenstein still has stuff to teach us today. So those, if I had to narrow it down, those would be my two.
Those are great answers. I like that. Do you want to show Brian, now that I think about it, what we picked up?
Ooh, let's see.
We've got something special, and we've got to do some work on it.
Okay.
But we found it, and then we went back to a store and we picked it up because it was still there.
Okay. Oh my God! Yes. Oh really? Oh.
Even with high profile.
Oh my God! Yeah. Look at that sexy profile there. I'm telling you. Oh my God! Women, stay in your seats. I know the. Holy cow! Oh my God, that's awesome, Amy. Good job.
Yeah, we went back to that. I sent you that picture that we found. We went back to the antique store, and it was still there. And I told John, I said, we have to buy it.
Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, I almost wrote you guys and said, well, how much does that cost? You going back here soon? Because I think I need a totem here or something.
No, but John is going to make sure that by the time you get it, it looks like you.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Thank you,
guys. We'll work on it for you, yeah.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Amy.
I promise.
Yeah, we was like, okay, if that's still there, we're buying it. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so cool. Thank you. Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Well,
okay,
he'll go with the collection here.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
And yes, we do have merchandise, people.
Yes, he does. Cups.
And also,
yeah.
I got this lady named Terry made this for me, and I got this at Heroes for Kids Con.
Yeah. Terry made a dragon for me.
That's right. Right.
Well, she's very talented.
Speaking of dragons.
Oh, look at there.
Cindy Cap made this one for me. See the little
awesome.
And captured my little wiggling tail there. So
I don't know. It kind of looks like a dinosaur. It's kind of.
And there's your dinosaur. There's your dino porn right there.
There's the dino porn there. Yeah, also, it's probably a good thing Sarah isn't here because we've started something else on my broadcast, as you know. She has this thing for spine licking.
Oh,
I'll spare you guys. I'll spare you.
No, that one cracks me up. It's just
that's like
it's a little disturbing.
It is way disturbing, and I'm the guy doing it. So.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see. We got a comment here. Clyde Hall says, "Good evening, everybody. Hale of a show."
Thank you, Clyde.
Kudos to Clyde for using that properly there.
Well played, young man. Well
played. He said his name was Remo, but men called him the Destroyer.
That's right. That's right. Chapter 2, always, except with one book, always started out with his name was Remo and.
Yeah, and there you go. Yes. Let's see. We got some comments here. As far back as it'll let me go anyway. I know Jason Snyder was watching. Steph Spitzy. Jake Lindsay is saying hello. Let's see. Carl Witzman said, let's see. Something about the kind of sweat you get when you read some internet comments. I'm not sure. I can't see far back. I'm sure
I'm looking for this one.
Yeah. Let's see. Brian Rodman says hashtag dino porn. Jason's laughing. Brian says boom. Film at 11. Steph says, sorry I'm late. I'm at work. Hi all. Author Michaela Jade says, a Vin Diesel flashback. Yummy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and hashtag big goals. I like that one. Mm-hmm. Steph, hashtag fueled by spite. Love it. Yes. We all love that one. Rick Bradley says, good evening. Halians. I like that.
Oh my God. I've got Memorians. You've got aliens.
We're going with that one. You just started something there, Rick. Halians. Hashtag Halians. There we go.
Beautiful.
Let's see. Robin, I'm not going to say the last name right. Cataret.
Oh, from NonCon.
Yes, from NonCon. She says, I know the coolest people. Well, we know her, so same.
Yeah, I do.
Rick says, I know if Nintendo catches people doing anything with their copyrighted characters, they will come down just like the mouse. They don't mess around. No kidding. Mm-hmm. No kidding. Michaela Jays has got to go. She's got to sprint with a friend. Jason says, I hope you guys have a great night. And Brian Rodman says, Carl Witzman, I think you found the idol to put on the altar of the Dark Church of the Rising Tide.
Oh, we probably need to explain that.
We just got to get that ready. Yeah.
There we go. Yes.
The Dark Church of the Rising Tide. I don't even know where to begin with that one. That one is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's basically, and it's a self-admitted tax dodge. We're gonna try to take up. We're gonna try to get those sweet federal tax credits any way we can. And like for instance, I know I'm not going to be able to list everyone, but like Carl is the Dark Pope. And his lady Donna is the Dark Misses, while Sarah is the Dark Mistress, and will punish anyone who is watching us on YouTube and not giving the page a like. So please, if you're watching on author Amy Hale on YouTube, please give it a like right now. Okay,
yes.
It helps her out a lot.
Yes.
And I have no title whatsoever. I am the one who shall not be titled, kind of like Voldemort.
John thinks we should put on the bottom of this little statue, Father Brian.
I'm sure he does. I want to run the confessional. I want to run the confessional.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I just want to know all the deep, dirty secrets. Yep, bring them my way.
I'm afraid I'm too competitive. Go, you call that a sin? Let me tell you what a sin is.
Hold my beer.
Right. That's not a sin. This is a sin.
I did see a question here from Michaela Jade before she left. Goes, Brian, my memory sucks. What's your secret? How do you remember so much stuff? No, the thing is, I can remember a lot of things as long as they aren't important.
Same. I know all the lyrics to 80s music by heart.
Yeah.
But don't ask me an important question.
Yeah, I can tell you who like lettered like the first 100 issues of the Fantastic Four. I can tell you who played guitar on the song "Strangers in the Night" by Frank Sinatra. It was Glenn Campbell, and also in all kinds of nonsense. I can remember my mother's been gone for 30 years. I can still remember her phone number. I can't remember my wife's though.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly.
So it's a very selective memory, and as long as it's not vital, I can remember it. I'll probably be like strapped down to a bed, unable to remember my own name, and yet I'll be rattling off the birthdays of all the members of Blood, Sweat, and Tears or something.
Yep. I figure my last days I'll just be quoting music lyrics from the 80s, and nobody will have a clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, all mine will be like the B-sides of 45. So, and the housing staff will be like, "What are 45s?" Those are the followers of 78s and the Edison cylinders.
I figured they'd be like, "Amy, where do you live?" Love Shack. That's gonna be
I'll be on Electric Avenue if you need me. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'll just be totally lost.
Oh yeah,
but I'll be happy.
Yes, there we go. That's the main thing. We'll be happy.
That's right. Well, let's see. If you could choose any actor to play any character in one of your books, who would it be, and what character would they play?
Oh wow, that's another heavy one. I don't get asked these kind of questions before. Notice how I'm stalling. I think, well, I've said for the longest time that Volcana, or Angelique Forge, her civilian identity, should be played by Jennifer Aniston. Because she is a geeky kind of gal. But I'm not going for somebody who looks like they should have a staple in their navel or something. You know, I'm not looking for some pneumatic 18-year-old with no life experience to play her. I want somebody who can really convey like real emotions and do really good deadpan comedy. And I think Jennifer Aniston would be perfect for that.
Yeah.
Now, Volcana would be Lucy Lawless.
Oh, yeah, she would be great that way.
Oh my God. And you know, it's not just for Xena, but everything I've ever seen her in, even bit roles like in The Amazing Spider-Man or something with Tobey Maguire, she just becomes a chameleon and blends into the role. And I think if you could get somebody, maybe two actresses with that kind of vibe from those two actors, I think I would be very happy. Now the others. Oh well, I do have my Doc Saga character, who, for those of you who don't know, and you shouldn't because not a single word of it's gone into print yet. He's an ageless adventurer, and the
Ooh.
idea is that he roams the earth, exchanging healing techniques.
Okay.
And he, due to the path he has taken, he is now approaching 300 years old.
Wow.
Because after a certain point and after learning certain, shall we say, arcane methods of healing, he stopped aging. And I describe him as looking like a 35-year-old Robert Taylor, the classic actor from the 30s and 40s. Just that kind of chiseled look, but he wasn't so handsome that he couldn't blend into a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of thing. And the idea is, especially after you get to be a certain age, like once you're starting to enter your second 100 years, you don't want to attract a lot of attention.
Oh, I can imagine.
So it'd be Robert Taylor. If I could pull somebody back from the dead, it'd be Robert Taylor to be Doc Saga.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get those like the Tupac Shakur holograms. Let's get one up for this guy. So if we ever sell the movie rights to Doc Saga, we're ready.
You just said, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm laughing. So Brian Rodman says hashtag Dark Father Brian. And Rick Bradley says, Brian running the confessional. If you could just say that a little louder and speak into the microphone.
No, I'd be like, forget forgiveness, video or it didn't happen.
That's right.
That's right.
And Rick Bradley says, well, you know that I'm never going to give you up.
Oh!
We're being rickrolled by Rick.
We are. Well, Rick has rickrolled me in the past, but I knew he was going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you haven't forgiven him for it yet.
No, sir.
Rick had shared a site that was rickrolling people, but it was in the form of a newspaper headline about Funko Pops suddenly being discontinued, and I knew that a certain someone with a horrifying level of addiction to Funko Pops would be pretty miffed. I think it's the safest way to say it. I don't want to lose any potential monetization on YouTube here, so we'll just say she was miffed as heck. But you opened it up, and then you realize, I got rickrolled.
It was funny. It was funny. I have to admit, it was funny.
Everyone thought to accept the Funko Pop Corporation. Go figure.
Yeah, they didn't like it too much.
They weren't real happy with them.
Yeah, they didn't find that entertaining at all. I don't know why. I don't know why.
That's why corporations get such bad vibes for people. It's like no sense of humor. Lighten the heck up.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that no one bothered reading the article, they just assumed, the headline is telling the truth, and they went about their day.
Yeah, I was getting that when I shared the thing, and and so you get the people who would be like, ha ha ha, nice try, Brian, or that was really clever, I really enjoyed that, and then you get the person going, that can't be right, my life is over.
Say it isn't so.
It's like read the headline. Do more than that. Read the actual article. This is symptomatic of why our society is going straight to where in a hand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Reading comprehension would be great.
Yeah, and critical thinking might not be a bad course.
Wouldn't be bad either. Yeah. Okay, so how about you tell us real quick about your Patreon and your newsletter?
I would be glad to, Amy. Thank you. Well, we started a Patreon page about 6 months ago. I've actually had it for quite some time, and I thought, well, maybe one day if I ever, get popular, if people start liking me, I'll spruce it up just a little bit. And then I kind of mentioned one day on one of my shows, Clever Tile Pending, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central. # always promote. next thing I know, I've got people signing up for it. I'm like, well, crap! Now I gotta catch up. So, no, I'm having so much fun with it, actually. And folks, please support Amy Hale's Patreon too. It's a great site. In all seriousness,
Thank you.
It is fantastic. I'm really proud of you for going through with it. That takes a little bit of moxie there to step up to the plate like that. But on my site, $1 will get you a mention on everything we do, including our upcoming audiobooks. We are currently editing Santa Stein, the audiobook. Yay.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. And also for $5 a month, you get to view chapters of my... You see, I'm an outliner. I am an outliner. You know, when I write something like this, or I write something like this, or this subliminal advertising, I use an outline. I don't always follow it, but I use it. And this one is what I'm calling a first draft flash fiction novel. It is the first draft of that chapter, and I'm not using an outline. So we're going to see what lines up. So we're going to see if we can do that. It's turning out pretty well so far. I'm very proud of it. And then for $10 a month, and we are seeding that level more soon, you can download PDFs of our works.
Awesome.
So, and any and all contributions will be privately and gratefully acknowledged. And it's a great way. Patreon is the difference between Patreon and a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe is that the latter three are basically, here's the money and you're gone. With Patreon, it's like a subscription service. So for $1, $2, whatever you feel up to contributing, you are actively supporting your favorite creators on an ongoing basis. And it means a whole lot. Plus you get, I spend a lot more time on my Patreon page than I do my Facebook or anything, because I feel that, you know, we can have a more intimate dialogue that way. So if you really want to get to know us better, the best way to do it is to sign up for our Patreon page.
Yeah.
And again, you know, please sign up for Amy's. She has a terrific one, and I'd like to see her get more people.
Thank you. You definitely sign up for Brian's too. I've signed up, and I'm enjoying everything I'm reading so far. It's been fun. And then he has a newsletter as well.
Yes, I do. If you go to risingtide.pub, I conveniently placed on your screen there, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter. It's absolutely free. And every month on the first of the month, we do a special video that is unique to the newsletter. We also have a couple of secret links. They're not so secret that I don't tell you where they are, but they're always kind of fun and or educational. We do everything from running old TV shows from the 50s to telling you how to be a better publisher to marble races. I am so hooked on freaking marble races.
Yeah, they're cool though.
They are so much fun. I love the jelly races. I really do. I just got through watching the like the Winter Olympics and that. So, and I tell my wife, honey, they got a new race, and she's like, oh, fine, whatever. But anyway, the newsletter also, if you have Facebook Messenger, you can send your email to me. We do not trade, sell, or barter it in any sort of way. You will not get any spam because of us, because we hate it too. But yes, our newsletter goes out the first of every month. And this last issue, we told people that we actually have some personal appearance dates. And so we decided to list those. So,
yeah, it's nice to have some to actually promote right now.
It is. And yes, and I'm you mentioned Big River Comic-Con. I want to thank Deb Slogue for inviting me to that also. I'm really looking forward to that. That is going to be so much fun. We're going to have a number of good shows this year, and we promise we will stay safe.
Yes. Yep. Safely enjoy these shows, but we will have a good time. Yeah.
Yes, we will. Yes,
we
will.
Is there a like a fans only Fez fetish page coming up soon, or
could be.
The cigarette.
Yes. Well, you see, John, you know me. I believe in diverse revenue streams.
There you go.
And if I can get somebody who will actually do that sort of thing. By God, you'd be surprised what depths I will. No, you probably wouldn't be surprised.
Nope. I'll just be looking out for it.
You better, boy. Howdy, I'm telling you, don't get hiccups. I'm telling you right now, big boy. That will remain our private joke.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
a show. Ask us at a show.
Yeah. If you find us at a show, ask us about hiccup cures. But we're not telling that story on air. I'm telling you right now.
Not on this show. No, we love Amy too much for that. On the station, see ya. Anyway, no. If you buy several books from each of us, we will explain what that means. So anyway.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see.
Amy Hale's watching.
I've got Chimera was saying hello, so I was replying to her on the comments, but it does not showing up here, so that's weird. Okay.
Freaky. So, I see Amy Hale said hello.
Yeah, I know.
She stepped in.
She's bored.
She must be. Amy, if you ever want some tips on how to become a big-time publisher, you ought to talk to this gal here.
Exactly, yeah. She doesn't always know what she's talking about, but it's entertaining when she talks to herself. So,
well, Cookie calls me a professional liar. Because I do fiction, so it's like, I'll say something outrageous, and she go, "Well, you are a professional liar."
Well, it's like one of my business cards says, "My imaginary friends are hot."
I like that.
That's I got my imaginary friends that I talk to.
Knowing how things typically go when we're all together, this question is. Going to be out there a little bit. Have you had any amazing or strange fan encounters?
Again, I'm limited to only one. No.
No, we said any.
Oh, any. Okay, 2 hours later. Well, actually, I've had a number of amazing ones. The first one springs to mind is like about 3 years ago, I did a Kickstarter for a comic book that Eric Hawkins and I worked together called Spencer Spook. And it's kind of an all ages revival of a character from the 1940s. It was in Giggle Comics from American Comics Group. And he was created about 6 months before Casper the Friendly Ghost. But whereas Casper would be like, "Oh gosh, I'm so unhappy. He doesn't like me." Spencer would be like, "Hold my beer. I'm going to and a wonderful friend of mine, a cosplayer from Northern Indiana, Travis Bunch, he and his daughter, she was 8 years old at the time, she decided that she wanted to start reading comics and asked Dad which one she should purchase as her very first comic. He brought his daughter to me so that my comic would be her very first.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is cool.
That's awesome.
How do you top that?
Yeah.
Now, then on the other hand, I had someone who wanted me to publish, "Hey, I got a book you can publish." And of course, the answer to that right now is no way in hell. Because when you start out like that, I know that we're not going to be doing business. Pitch it to me, do it right. But anyway, he said, "Well, I said, he goes, "Well, you want to know what it's about?" And I said, "Well, really, I'm not publishing other people right now." And he's like, "Well, let me tell you what it's about." I'm like, No, I really don't want to hear it. For a lot of reasons, mostly legal. If I write something like that, you can come back. Well, let me tell you what it is anyway. And he proceeded to. And I'm like, I'm going to call security in a minute. I don't want to hear this. And I'm telling his friend, "Get him out of here right now, or I will call the promoter." And finally, I got a customer so I could break away. And he was a little miffed that that we'd allowed this person to interrupt his magnum opus, which I think was something like 930 pages.
Oh my goodness!
Epic fantasy novel with no plot.
The prologue.
I'm jumping all over publishing that one. You bet. And then I had somebody at, and I know Amy knows this one. We were at a convention in Southeast Illinois, and somebody came up to me, and in the 15-20 minutes he was there, he never blinked once, as far as I could tell. But within about 3 minutes, he looked at some of my stuff, and one of my books is based on a real life haunted cemetery in the Chicago area called Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Yeah.
And he started probing about the book. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Asking questions about the book, and totally deadpan, never smiled the whole time. And he looked at me. Did you know I call Art Bell every night? And I'm like, okay. And he goes, I call to make sure he gets everything correct.
All right.
And for you, young man, that shows a lot of industry.
Wow.
I'm really happy for you. Sweet God in heaven, someone rescue me. Yeah, but I will say, for the most part, though, I think you guys would agree with me that we meet the most amazing people.
We do.
We do.
We do.
Yep.
And wonderful people that even if they don't pick up what we sell, that we have some good conversations, get to know some people,
Yep.
and it is overall very, very positive. It is, the relative freak storms are just a minor drizzle in the overall weatherscape of what we do as creators. And most of the time it's sunshine and perfect weather.
It really
it
is. They can really make your day sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now I think I know the person you were talking about that was giving you their entire plot of their story, because I think he also came to my table because he talked for like 20 minutes straight without taking a breath. And it was the plot to a story, and I was like, that's awesome, you should write it. Oh, I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you standing?
Yeah, you could have been writing
Go write it.
To me. Go write it right
Make
now.
it happen. Make it happen.
You could have gotten a couple of pages done there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's not that, I don't mind. It's not that I, don't like listening to other people's ideas. Absolutely. I mean, that's great. I'll encourage you, but don't give me your entire plot. And it's just like I think people don't understand when they're trying to sell a book even. Don't give your, entire thing away in your sales pitch, or why would I bother reading it?
Yeah,
you already told me the ending, Yeah,
that's why I went to C2E2 one year with Cookie, and there was this guy's clearly passionate about this comic book he had just produced. He proceeded to tell me page by page everything that happened, including the ending. And then he asked me if I wanted to buy it. And I'm like, dude, you just gave me the whole story. Why do I need to buy it?
I don't really need it now.
I just got the audiobook.
Yeah. It's like, dinner and a show right here if I brought something to eat.
Yeah.
That just amazes me that, and I really stress the idea of the elevator pitch, which for those who don't know is basically you're in an elevator, Steven Spielberg gets in, and he pushes the button for the next floor. You have just enough time to introduce yourself, say, hi, I'm Brian K. Morris. Yeah, tell them you're Brian K. Morris. And give a 2-line, boil down your story, the essence of your story, to 2 lines, 2 sentences, because he's going to get off that elevator, and if he's interested in what you're doing, he'll bring you with him. Otherwise, may never see him again.
Yeah.
And, it's just one of those things where if you can't sell to me in 15 seconds, what makes you think talking about it for 5 minutes is going to get me all more fired up about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And plus, it's a good way to, I tell other people who sell books, sell their ware, it's a great way to pre-qualify people.
Mm-hmm.
You deliver the elevator pitch because, like I've got half a dozen books or more. And I can do all my pitches in about a minute. And I've had actually people thank me for not wasting their time.
Yeah.
And it's not a hard sell, and for people who think that, I can't boil down my plot. And I got this from Warren Murphy, who I mentioned earlier. He was teaching a class, and some Yahoo in the class was saying, well, my story is so epic, I can't boil it down to 2 sentences. And Murphy, this is who I got it from. He said, a young man in the 19th century joins a whaling vessel and discovers a whole new way of life. Unfortunately, the insane ship's captain is determined to destroy the white whale who took his leg, even if it means the life of his crew. I've just described Moby Dick by Herman Melville in 2 sentences, and you wish your high school English teacher had described it the same way, because you'd have read it then.
Much more interesting that way.
Yeah, and it's considered one of the greatest books in the English language. And don't tell me, that you're better than Herman Melville.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We have a hilarious comment from Rick Bradley that says, I've got the the Necronomicon, so I'll get on resurrecting him. Klaatu, Ferreta, Ni, Nickel, Nectar, Necktie. He just goes on.
I'm waiting for the movie, Rick.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait for the audiobook because I'm not going to be able to read it.
Yeah, let's wait for the audiobook on the Necronomicon. There's the next market, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And then Brian Rodman says, in Miss Doubtfire's voice, hello.
Hello, my fellow Brian.
And Sharon Cagle says, hi, Amy and John. Hi, Sharon. Hope you're well. Kathy Jackson it looks like is watching with us. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Congratulations on your new book release.
Yes, she's got a new cover reveal and a new book coming out. And yeah, it's coming up soon here.
Excited for you.
Yeah. So we have, okay, so we have some just kind of off the wall questions for you now.
I have some off the wall answers, I'm sure.
All right. So what weird food combinations do you enjoy?
This is going to sound weird to some people, but I actually got this from the Food Network. I like grilled cheese with a small smearing of jelly on it.
Huh. I've never thought about trying that.
I didn't either till I saw this one show, but it has to be very thin, because otherwise when you cook it, it becomes the approximate temperature of molten brass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, third-degree burns have never tasted so good, but
yeah.
no, a nice sharp cheddar and a good bread. Get you some artisan stuff, and then nice butter it up, cook it on the grill, but a very thin smear of jelly, like a sharp cheddar and apple jelly is quite good. And then you have that sweet and the sweet from the jelly and salty from the cheese.
Oh, see, now you kind of piqued my interest there now.
Or pepper jack. Pepper jack's also excellent.
Oh, now that would be your thing, pepper jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's working on this.
I see we lost John. John's going to run out of here like he didn't wear his pod catheter or something.
Yeah, he's going to gotta go.
We were in Evansville last weekend, and we stopped at this little. It was called a donut shop. Okay. That didn't have donuts.
Not really.
There wasn't a donut in the building.
Not a normal donut. No.
Yeah, but there were these amazing pastries that, oh my word, I'm a huge raspberry fan. Yes. I love a raspberry filled Long John or donut. Mm-hmm. So they had this pastry that was about 4 or 5 inches around, about 3 inches thick, and it was covered in powdered sugar. And the raspberry was actually jam. Ooh. And when you cut into it and you got that flaky, almost like croissant outside edge with that tender inside, and you hit that jam, oh my, it was on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've got a new one. It's food porn now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my
God. It was so good. So I could see this back and forth with the spicy cheese and the sweetness of it.
Yeah. Rick Braley says the wheels in John's brain are smoking.
I suspect the griddle in the Hale household is going to be fired up.
They're smoking.
Let's see. So Rick says, Kathy. So this is like cheers. But he walks in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy says, hello, everyone. Hugs.
Hello.
Sharon says, I miss you. I miss you too, Sharon. Kathy says, Rick.
John, Marsha, John.
Yeah,
Marsha.
John. Yeah. So we also have the question: what book or movie could you read or watch over and over and over without getting tired of it?
Book, Frankenstein for sure. Close runner-up would probably be Cyborg by Martin Caidin, which came out in the early 70s and became the basis for the TV show The $6 Million Man.
Oh, okay. I remember
Oh.
you talking about that on the show the other day. Yeah.
Excellent book. And again, like Frankenstein, it's like the effect of technology, except it's more on the focus is on one man with the bionics, and
Yeah.
how human is he still, despite
Yeah.
the fact that he can do things that are above what normal men can do.
Yeah.
So fascinating book. And the
They
thing is,
should bring $6 Million Man back.
they've got to. They keep saying they will, but
They're bringing everything else back. Why not?
yeah, but the thing is, now $6 million, all they could probably do is repair his pinky or something.
Pinky, yes.
There's inflation, people, inflation.
Yeah, true.
But no, and as far as movie, and I have seen this so many times, and I love it, is The Rocketeer with Jennifer Connelly and Alan Arkin and a whole bunch of great supporting characters.
Yep.
And that's just one of those movies. It just hits every high note for me. Paul Sorvino, he is so wonderful. I've always liked Paul Sorvino, who plays the mafia guy, the mafia don in there. And just so many exciting things. There's humor, there is action, and I have to say that Timothy Dalton.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is amazing in this show, and he has the line that makes you hate him with the utmost passion. And I'll spoil it for everyone. It's towards the end where he's had this, he's been leading Jennifer Connelly around trying to seduce her, and he reveals himself as a bad guy, and she's like, well, everything about you is fake. You said you loved me. You were lying. And he just looks so hurt, and he goes, I wasn't lying. I was acting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
You just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, I'm like dying of fire. And like 30 seconds later, I'm like, cool. No, I love The Rocketeer. I seriously love The Rocketeer. It is as, to me, it's almost as perfect a movie as you'll ever make. And I keep hearing that they're trying to remake that too. And I'm like, no, don't remake good movies.
Yeah.
Remake sucky ones.
Well, and I just keep thinking every time I hear they're going to remake anything, I'm like, but there's so many great stories out there that haven't been told yet. Please just consider just a few of them,
Yeah, and I tell people also that I don't mind if you remake a film, but I think you should wait at least 10 years beyond the time that everyone in the movie is associated with the movie is dead, including the audience.
Well, yeah, because everybody's going to automatically compare them to the original actors, and they're going to be that wasn't as good as the first time if they liked the first one. Yeah,
and sometimes just so many movies get it right the first time, or
they
are
do.
so
They do.
That you don't want to see another Casablanca. You don't want to see another Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind. Well, Gone with the Wind you might now, but
I don't know. It'd only be like 10 minutes long, so
yeah, probably.
I like Carol Burnett's Gone with the Wind.
Oh my God, I saw it in the window and I knew I had to have it. Yes.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I love it still. That's another thing that doesn't get old. That show. I love that. I love the Carol Burnett.
Fantastic show. Yeah.
Speed round.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Kraken or wine?
Kraken.
Yeah, we're doing this or that.
Chocolate or hard candy?
Chocolate.
Pizza or barbecue?
Pizza.
Reading or writing?
Writing.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Music or podcasts?
Music.
Big party or small gatherings?
Small gathering.
Email or written letters?
Written letters.
Okay, here's a tough one now.
Okay.
Would you rather be handsome or funny?
I'm already both. Why am I worried?
I knew that was going to be your answer. That's why I put that question
Can't
there.
pick.
I know. Why am I worried? Ego or self-delusion? I got that too.
Okay. Car or truck?
Car.
Last one.
Horror or comedy?
Comedy.
There you go. So there's a speed round of this or that we thought we'd throw in for fun.
That was fun. That was great.
Yeah, I knew when I saw that, when I was putting questions in there, I was like, okay, I got to add this one.
Yeah. And Brian's bloated ego would rise to the fore. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. We have several more here. Mother's maiden name. First address.
Barnett, Danville, Illinois.
Social security number, bank
Social
account.
security number.
No problem. Here, put it on crawl in front of the screen here. What could possibly go wrong?
You just put it in the crawl.
Yeah, just do it over and over again. It's like, try to steal my author earnings.
Yeah. And then watch people cry as they send you a message and go, I'm so sorry.
It'd be like having a PayPal account. They'll be donating to it. So, yeah.
I got to give that to that guy's Patreon because he needs it more than I do.
Dad said one time he got robbed in the back alley, and he said he woke up and it was $10 in his pocket. He said, I didn't have it when I got robbed.
Oh, you're a writer. You need this more than I do, then.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
So let's see. It says Tina's watching. Hi, Tina. And Rick Bradley says, I like the speed round. Thank you, Rick. Speaking of Rick, I have one more book here that Brian and Rick are both in, The Nightmare Collective.
Yes.
So this is a fun anthology you guys need to check out, especially if you like short, quick, spooky reads. This is a good one.
Good book. I'm very proud to be in that book, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of Rick. I am proud of Rick because the aforementioned small show in Harrisburg, Illinois at BirdCon in 2019, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Rick was part of the audience and came up with some incredibly good questions for you, me, and Kathy Jackson.
Yeah.
And then 4 months later, he got that story placed.
Yes.
4 months later, after deciding he was going to make the leap and become a professional writer. And since then, he's published his own stuff, and he is appearing in anthology after anthology. And I am proud of that guy so very much.
Me too. Yep. Talk about putting feet to your words there. I mean, he literally just jumped into action. That was awesome.
It was fantastic. And anyone here watching can do the same thing if you aren't doing it already. Never let anyone tell you you can't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. He says, I dare someone to take my social security number when all my bill collectors go after them. He says, I'll laugh. And he says, and now I'm blushing.
Good.
We are proud of you, Rick. We are.
Yeah.
And let me just say that we are proud of all of our creative friends. And that's why we have this show. We know so many amazing creative people. And we just felt like it was important to have a place to showcase all these people we've met, like Brian, like Rick, which Rick we'll definitely have to get you on the show. We've got a pretty full lineup this year. I'm really excited about the people we've got coming on. We've got some actors, we've got artists, I've got authors, we've got musicians. I'm in talks with a couple of photographer and graphic artists. So I'm just super, super excited. I'm trying so hard not to drop names yet, but we haven't set dates and I don't want to say anything on some of them. But next week we will have George Next time we'll have George Soroy with us. Nice. And he'll be talking about his journey as an author and a podcaster. So I'm excited about next week. Next time. I'm going to say next week every time, aren't I? And that's going to be February 18th. So does anybody have any more questions before we let Brian go? Is there anything else? Keep waiting for the comment dump to see what happens. Let's see. Carl says, great show. Thank you, Carl. Rick says, yes, definitely let me know when you want me.
Maybe you shouldn't have phrased it that way, Rick.
Caught me there.
That's an unfortunate choice of words.
John's over there going, okay then.
Well, now.
Yeah. None but love, Rick. None but love.
Yeah. Oh, if you can't take something dirty with something one of us have said or one of you did, then we're not in. There's something wrong because we're always taking everything dirty.
As the great Tom Lehrer said, when correctly viewed, everything is lewd. So
That's right. That's right.
What is Carl and Ted?
Oh, Carl and Ted. Carl and Ted have a cigar show. When is that? Do you remember?
I think it's usually about 10 or 11 o'clock tomorrow.
On Friday nights? Is it the cigar show that's Friday nights?
I think the Friday night is I do the Green Room is on Friday night with Carl, Secret Humor Group. Also, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. we have Nevermind the Furthermore, the creative conversation and coffee show where you can interact with the host, such as he is. And don't forget Clever Title Pending every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We had a great show with Michael Watson this week, who's an independent comic creator. That was a lot of fun. And this week we are going to have Glenn B. Fleming, who is not only a writer and artist of comic books, he is also a travel writer and an expert in the JFK assassination.
Oh, wow. That'll be interesting.
So bring your questions. One of the nice things about Clever Title Pending, as well as this show here, which is very nicely done. Good work, you two. You get to ask questions of our guests, and it's kind of fun to see these guests line up, isn't it?
It is. There's so many interesting people.
So you have 5 nights or 5 days a week shows?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes
we have 4
yes. No, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is Clever Title, or rather, Nevermind the Furthermore in the morning. And then I have Tuesday nights on Clever Title Pending. But we have like 6 nights of shows a week now on the recently minted Rising Tide broadcast network.
Yep.
Okay.
So they're everywhere.
We are everywhere. We're taking over. You only get Sundays off, people, because the Dark Church has said so. But Monday is my show. Tuesday, at 10 a.m. we have TED Talks with Ted Davies Artistry. Always fascinating. Always great stuff, whether he's interviewing someone like Lisa Malone. I see he's interviewing Lisa Malone, who is an agent to many creative people in the comics field and cosplay. And then at 12:05 will be Lunchtime at the Doghouse with Joe Dog McKeel, a great interactive conversation show. Then I'm on at 8 p.m. Eastern, all times Eastern, for Clever Title Pending. Then Wednesday is me again on Nevermind the Furthermore. Thursday, oh my goodness, it is a busy day. Starts out with Lunchtime at the Doghouse at 12:05, 5 after, so you can get your lunch. And then Stupid O'Clock at 9 p.m. Stupid O'Clock is a great after-hours conversation show with some very intelligent, funny people. And then Friday, again, is Nevermind the Furthermore. Then you get your choice of the Green Room, and we want to give a little love to the Historical Fencing Guild. Nick Tockard's high energy information show on how to kill each other properly and cleanly with bladed weaponry. And then we have the Green Room with Carl at 8. Also, Saturday at 11 p.m. is Stupid O'Clock again. And don't forget, also, there's the Stupid After Show on Thursdays and Saturdays, too. So we're on our way to filling up your entire existence with our program.
Yeah.
We do not need a TV.
No, we have plenty of entertainment right here.
Yeah.
I know. Really. Yeah. Goodness gosh almighty. Yeah. No, it makes
unscripted, genuine.
Yeah. This is as real as it gets, people.
Speaking of real, Rick Bradley says, "I'll rub your belly, John."
Oh.
I might need to leave them alone. I don't know.
Boom chicka wow wow.
Let's see. Carl says the 14th. I mean the 11th. Geez, so that must be the cigar show. Good. Oh, Willow Schuyler has joined us. Hello, Willow.
From the Hanging with Web Show Network.
Yes, and Willow's Pillow Talk, which we had such a fun time on the show the other night.
It's a great.
Yeah, that was fun. Chimera's back saying hello. And let's see over here on YouTube. Oh my gosh. Okay. Carly says, great show. Okay, guess. Love you, Brian.
The best they could do. Sorry. Love you, Carly. Mwah.
Clyde says, good times. Thank you, Hales and Brian, for a fun show. Thank you for joining us, Clyde.
Yes.
Without you guys being here, we would have no reason. Well, I mean, we'd still probably get around and talk, but it would just be us talking to each other. So
And
we
this
love it
place
when
clean.
you join us. Let's see. Carl says Willow must be watching 2 shows at the same time too. So are you watching another one? Yeah, kind of hard to keep up. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we've been going. Wow, in almost an hour and 45 minutes. So
Time flies when you're having fun.
It is, and none of us have had to take a bathroom break. So
yes, no live streaming.
If you get that joke. Okay. So
yes, one of us in this panel is a verb now. Can you guess what?
Yes. And if you really want to know what we're talking about, send me a message. I'll explain later. Anyhow.
Or check out back episodes of Clever Title Pending on my YouTube channel, Brian K. Morris, Rising Tide Publications. I tell you when you could find it, but look for the icons. You'll see Amy Hale.
Yeah. I was
about 5 minutes on my show.
I was actually setting up my YouTube channel, and I was doing the guest spots list. And I came across the ones that I happened to pull one up just to see where it was at. And it was about middle of the show. And it was when I had to run to the bathroom. So I managed to make it an entire hour before my rice-sized bladder decided it wasn't going to last any longer. So, yeah.
What's your first show before we wind down here?
My first live show?
Yep.
Okay, let me consult the Book of All Knowledge here. That is going to be Big River Comic Con, April 23rd and 24th in Hannibal, Missouri at 6400 County Road 445. Please check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Amy Hale will be there. I will be there. And all kinds of wonderment. So please come see us.
It's a great show. It's a great show. And we've got, let's see, Willow said, sorry I didn't have your show on the poster this morning. And I had to say hi to Joe. And Kiara says, hey. So I got Kiara and Chimera on here. And let's see, do we have any more? I think that covers it. All right. So thank you so much for joining us, Brian. We've
awesome
had a great
as always.
Time. Yeah.
Thank you, friends. Oh my God. I love being with you guys. I really do.
We do too. We always have a good time together. Always. I'm going to close things down if you'll hang around for a few minutes afterwards and we'll chat.
Will do.
All right. Thank you so much. Oh, one last time, tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm occasionally on Twitter when it isn't being a dumpster fire, which means I'm never there. And Instagram. I'm also on YouTube on the Brian K. Morris Rising Tide Publications page, but also go to risingtide.pub. That .pub is very important. And sign up for my free monthly newsletter and check out our shows and the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. And thank you again, Amy and John, for having me on tonight. Had a blast.
Thank you so much for joining. We'll talk to you later.
I look forward to it.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let me get that cleared away. Thank you for joining us on our return episode 3 of Creative as Hale. We're so happy to have had Brian with us tonight. And yes, always. He's always so much fun. I hope you will join us on the 18th at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. For author and podcaster George Soroy. He's going to be joining us, and it's going to be fantastic. So you can find us here on YouTube. You can find us on the author Amy Hale Facebook page. So I really, really hope you'll join us, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. And here we go. All right. Have a good night, everybody.